elimination match, and coming off of Ascent, Blue Otter find themselves one match away now from moving on into the lower finals. And hey, YFP here, Vance, finding themselves in the hot seat. It was decently close. I mean, we had that 6-6 at half, but Blue Otter, they slowly started creeping ahead, and they weren't willing to give up that lead.
Yeah, I have to go back and reiterate what I was mentioning before. Like, when I was looking at the bottom side of this top 8 going to playoffs, again, I think a deep run would have been from Rankers and Blue Otter in the top 3, but not necessarily at number 2 and number 1. And Blue Otter is on their way to at least get that, or potentially get that number 3 if they're able to win the second map against YFP, to play against potentially even Rankers in the grand finals. And that would be an insane run for stage 3. But it all makes sense after you watch this game, if you haven't been watching Blue Otter at all during Challengers. For a team like this that's able to play so well against Ascent, against Stellar, by the way, who started off this whole deadlock meta on this very map, and to play even better, dude, this is a sick match to witness and a sick map to witness from Blue Otter.
I mean, go for it.
I'm just like, again, I really think we got to see like what the Yoru comp has over the Jet comp. On Ascent now, and why so many teams are moving towards like playing the Yoru deadlock style instead. The fact that you can like take these fights early, but just have an immense advantage. If neither Omen player is able to get value out of the paranoia, it's the Yoru flash that can really edge things out for you. Bob is 7-2 first kill, first death, over the map. She's really active early in the rounds, where both comps really have to contact quite heavily onto different parts of the map here. So that for me is like it definitely shows that that comp is favored here. And as good as Penny was, and they were, they had to walk into some of these lines where you could even give the op to Zeke. So on the B side, they could get kills there because they knew they were just going to get walked on.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you two had highlighted the differences between the two duelists, and we had talked about Bob as just being an outstanding fragger on this team. And it was how everyone was able to just get kills off of her in that space in the utility as well, and just able to hold their own. I mean, we were seeing Zolstol, there's the jump down from a Heaven Judge in hand. I mean, the whole team really being able to step up, but being able to see just kind of those micro differences in here in fans. I mean, that's going to make that difference in the end for them to take the dub.
Yeah, impact frags that came out from players like Zolstol, it just made me remember the piss round 2, where they pushed by themselves right around the smoke and almost got 2 out of that, but did some great damage to even on a second player, which I even think was Jakey on that round. So again, I think every single one of these players kind of just did their role perfectly on the side of Blue Otter. And I gotta say, YFP did a great job as well to fight back against Blue Otter, but the difference of how much pressure Blue Otter was able to add on a defensive side, especially involving these ultimates. I think looking back, and if you're going to rewatch this match and you want to learn from your mistakes or how you can improve against a team like Blue Otter, a lot of these crunches and a lot of the pressures came through around ultimates, right? Remember the Sova ult that went from Catwalk. Then we had the Yoru ult from B main. So a lot of these happen in that sense that maybe in the future this could be learned where they could play a little bit further back. But if not, when it comes down to mid-rounding, there was still some good stuff that we saw from YFP.
I mean, if you want to talk about ults and you want to talk about the pressure, we got to look back. Pulled round 18 here. First off, a couple of these ultimates, they were hilarious. Just a good time. Shift fast in the night. But the pressure that this is able to put for this B crunch was fantastic.
It's such a big paranoia that comes off this, right? And Zeke gets into position, and instead of just peeking that line, they throw in an annihilation here, basically just to even the odds a little bit. And then they reassume that angle and find a shot with that operator. Because again, this is just a matter of YFP walking up and trying to take a fight. I mean, you want to know why Blue Otter won this game. It's not only like winning both the pistols is pretty big. I think getting like those 6 attack side rounds off a pistol round win, but they also win 2 really important thrifties. And both of them actually happen in that second half, just as it looks like YFP are about to build some momentum. Those are the kind of rounds where, yeah, like Zostal is in tree, has like smoke, runs in the smoke, gets a judge kill, and then does the same, dropping down onto Jen on the side. So, Blue Water did very, very well, using the inherent advantage of being a defender on this map, but, being able to eke out rounds when they are unfavored economically there. Really very solid play. it's their map pick, so definitely expect to see them look strong on it. But yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, I think two things based on what you were saying as well, Mitch, is just how they were able to capitalize on thrifty rounds. That just gives me like EG vibes when you're trying to leverage ultimates around the Laurel buys to capitalize on wins, which worked. Secondly, is just the value that they have from the deadlock on Ascent. Again, I give a lot of praise and credit onto Stellar and Turtle Troop on how they were able to develop the meta with deadlock, but it almost feels like you're looking at the same way as the old cookie cutter meta comp used to be played, right? I'm talking about the KO Sova, Cypher / KJ, the Jet, and the Omen. With that composition, the more that it's being played, you have more ways to fine tune and perfect that composition. Where I feel like I've seen that from Blue Otter more, because the value that they're getting out of the grab nets for throwing towards the market, for getting control towards main from the pop flashes and whatnot. It's not just on, we need to get our deadlock ready so we could throw a full execution and just pop onto the site. They utilize the deadlock to scale onto the attack side so well for the side of the attack of Blue Otter.
I mean, if you want to talk about cookie cutter comps and just kind of improving off of that, we got to talk about the next map of the series and look at Sunset. Of course, this is both of these teams' second best of 3 of the day. So they're warmed up teams, and they also both got to not only play, but win Sunset in their last best of 3s. And Uber, when we're looking at this now, Blue Water on match point here, this is something, too, that I'm intrigued about when we're looking at this potential, most likely, of a mirror composition.
Yes. I do think that Blue Water, they tried to play Sage against Rankers in that, like,
Yesterday.
upper quarterfinal game. It didn't work, but Rankers are really dirty on that map. I think it's their best map from what we've seen. The Sunset looks really good. And yeah, I mean, like, you know, Bob had to turn up on the Neon, had to play against Infiltrator on that same role. So definitely, you know, she was put to the test in a big way. But yes, outside of that, you should expect to see both these teams play like Neon Breach with Sova comps, like nothing crazy out of the ordinary. I'm actually looking pretty closely at the Sentinel play here, because we're continuing to examine how well Cyphers can now lock sights down with the changes onto that B side of the map, where you can't just have this unbreakable trapwire, right? You have to mix them up and get creative with them. I mean, we think back to see what we saw from Inspire, right, on this map. Always a different setup every single round, getting a lot of kill trips, catching people out. They look very, very nerdy. So that's something we're going to examine, and how well the attack side team is going to be able to like work the map while clearing some of that util without fully committing. It's a big part of the game plan on Sunset.
Yeah, since they played them earlier, we have a good idea of what agent's going to be played, but let's roll the agent select, see if maybe Blue Water want to throw a little bit of a wrench in the plan for that. I mean, I like the Cypher, so I'd like to see them kind of stick with it, and heading to it, Van, yeah, Cypher's for the house.
And it only makes sense. I think Cypher is still quite good in 9.09, especially still with the changes around Sunset. Because, Uber, you were talking about just the changes that you have to play around the trips for Cypher because of, you know, the B main. You can't play Bunset anymore. But at the same time, it also forces the attackers to play more pushed up towards the spawn, maybe even try to fight towards Boba. So a lot of these trip nows are being focused on controlling that area to contain the back of the site, so that the rest of the team could rotate across and take control here from Boba from the middle of market and try to retake the site if you can.
Now, with this mirror composition, heading over to Sunset, Blue Otter, an opportunity to close this out and move on into that lower finals. YFP fighting for the life team here, so time to head on over and get this started.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we've seen Bob on that Yora earlier on. Neon recently is her best agent, not by a huge amount, but we're talking about, you know, north of 250 ACS, right? So that's definitely where you want to be as duelists. That's a really solid performance overall. We're going to see Blue Water starting on the defense side here. And it looks like they're going to get very busy in sort of to taking a bit of mid control early in the round. If they see nothing, they'll probably pull back here. But this could get messy if there's a commitment here by Stella.
Yeah, there's already a ping coming out from the attacker side too. Just be careful of this breach potential on the top of tiles. The end of the day, it looks to be pretty reactive. Instead of having a camera with Zol still trying to ping it down on the top of the market, if they spot something, then it's a crunch back towards middle instead of trying to over-aggress back towards the market. So both teams are going to be in a stalemate, but it's going to have to be on the YFP at that minute mark to try to activate a little bit more.
Go, go, go.
The A side is the weak one, though. There's little to no elbow presence at all. Even though Penny being careful about it, just checking to see if someone's tucked in the corner. Shoulder peeks there for Willie. They don't see anything, but they make noise and get pinged out in that spot here. And Blue Water still not convinced So this is where the action's going to be. At least an orb secured there for Stella.
Everybody's going to hit tab for sure when they hear that orb being picked up. They know now the breach on the attack side is over towards A, but they still don't want to react on this yet. They almost feel that they like to do these double pumps and these fakes. Recon Dart finds info, but there's still so many smokes being thrown towards B. So again, it's all up to YFP. Yes, they hit towards the A side, but it's going to be a late rotate for the players from B to A. And they're just double backing. There's a lot of hesitation onto YFP's hit so far.
Didn't we see this in YFP's
30
game
seconds
yesterday?
left.
They ran out of time on their attack side because they...
Yeah, just like split.
Yeah, exactly. It took so long. Against TSM in the first round. Yeah, they ran out of time, YFP. They really like to drag out this pistol. And now they're being contained in mid. That's 5 occasions. They're sitting behind it for the time being. And then they come. Penny and Thief get on the board at the very least. And Zeke, though, sees a very low health Physic able to be picked up. It's Bob now. Thinking about working into the smoke here, but that would be to the detriment because it was being covered by Jake.
Out of charges.
And there's Penny getting lit, but Bob's not going to fully commit now. Sees the shoulder pick and the cat's out of the bag of it. The Neon lurking on this corner. Welly, though, 2 headshots, 2 kills. Jake is at least able to salvage things to YFP. A typically glacial round from YFP, but they come out just with the pistol.
You got to say that Thief's Cyber Cage really saved them in that moment, running that clock down, or is Blue Otter, and doing a great job at that. But when there's 20 seconds left and you're trying to funnel inside and you're getting hit by a fault line right in the middle and you can't make it through, you waited for the cage, you waited for everybody to get unstunned. You have a Jake TP, a Penny slide, and then a triple swing overall to just brute force your way into the B site to overtake that in the end. It had to come down to just being pristine of coming out of the smoke and winning those fights, and you did. Both teams played that to the best of their abilities and capabilities, where IFP are able to win that pulse plant towards the end. So this eco round for Blue Water is not going to be the strongest to Sheriffs, and they're playing it separate across the map and try to use Welly with the Sheriff on A, and then Bob with the Sheriff on B, who's still holding that line semi-aggressively. She might get caught here.
Thought just the shoulder peek, but Penny is too sharp and is an instant pick off there of the enemy Neon. PP4 on the side here. Pretty straightforward stuff now for YFP as they get that opening. And they don't scale any further into the back of the side, in fairness. They kind of draw a line there halfway through. Secure a plant. Thief just piecing him empty. Shondek's coming. This is the Ghost player, the low econ player on this second round buy-up. And Thief's doing it all.
And has a hat ready for the next round. I mean, Thief, we haven't had a chance to talk about him too much here on the set because a lot of the action came from the rest here of Blue Otter instead, more than YFP side. But Thief and Sheriff and pistol rounds, he is still cracked up. You remember Reina days of Thief? He's definitely got the aim. And now switching over to the Sentinels since those LG days, he's still quite good and quite prominent here with the pistols and with the Cypher roll. Makes it good. Yeah. Now you're farming even potentially an ult for Penny in the bonus round.
I mean, he was more glazed than Ancient Greek pottery yesterday by us, but it was warranted. He had a fantastic series. And here already off to a great start. 5-1. Now though, Blue Water's time to buy up here. 3 sets of light armor. But again, crucially, that neural theft already being developed. Getting 5 kills in the first 2 rounds definitely doesn't hurt. So thought about skirting around the edge of that cyber cage, but probably would have triggered it. And there'll be yet another one thrown down to hold the masses at bay. It's Thief versus the world over at A. And Welly and Stella on the other side of this box here. Can have a peek for it. Timing just favors Welly there hugely. Well, sometimes better lucky than good.
They made her cross gate. So they only thought there was one single lurk on the top and middle, but there's still 2 players playing contact that will get this backstab onto Zolstol.
Zeke. Oh, Jake's gonna have the one easy. And now Zeke, despite the fact that they might have been looking, Penny was able to get in and pick them up, and now just 3 players here left.
I know exactly
for the Otters. And there's that neural theft that we talked about. Thief builds it up so early and now realizes that, yep, there's no backstab potential here, and there's a trip wire in the way anyway. So YFP can set their feet and get ready. Weapon-wise, fine. Guardian Outlaw to play with. Crucially, Jake's perched up on top of the boxes, which is going to have to be respected. And here is that fast lane. Now, Bob might want to try and clear Thief's position first, but it's a pretty timely paranoia that's going to force Bob back into hiding and shut down that fast lane entirely. Thief just wants to look for a sound cue here to play off of. And out of his presence, and Penny decides to pop on out in whack-a-mole here. Shondek was some big work to do, though. Found 3. until Physics saves the day with the Outlaw.
Oh my god, and it had to be an outlaw shot to end the deal here and end around for Physics, but that was a nice attempt by Shondex. The timing from Willie off that pick was super nice too. Also, another round where both of the teams are playing some great Valorant. For the defender's side to actually contest towards the orb was actually a great start. Deny that ult available here for Penny, and then also on the other end, when they realized that they lost control of that orb, they went up towards middle to actually rotate the map and flip the map in their favor. And those backstabs were everything to allow YFP to win a bonus round. So this is going to be such a detrimental buy for Blue Otters this time around, and looks like there's not going to be any trap plays moving across too, just to try to get a lot of value on Bob, for example, with a classic slide. This should be an easier round for YFP to take because of this passive play coming out from Blue Otter.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving up so much space here. They've got really poor weapons. Zostal just basically going to be sat over towards Elbit this whole round. There's nowhere else for them to be particularly relevant with that weaponry. And so YFP happily take up this space that is given to them. Get into mid. They're already starting to sneak a player in towards market. These has gotten up very, very close here. I don't think Shondex will be ready for a timing like this, but now Jake can get Shondex looking over here. Thief there gets doubled down on, and this is going to be a good application of the neural theft as YFP indicate that they're still willing to commit to ending over on this B side of the map. This also allows Zostal to take some space over towards A here and maybe set up in a position to disrupt this advance. He's going to hear everything. Penny walks straight into the Bucky, and that's the problem. Following up the paranoia. No chance for Zostal to get a better weapon here, but still, this is going to slow YFP down massively.
On target.
Oh, man, what is happening? Welly up mid, alone.
A flawless?
Nothing to be found there. That would be unreal. 2 rifles picked up, and that is disgusting. A thrifty, flawless round here for Blue Otters as YFP. They have no idea where the next punch is coming from.
Dude, I don't think I've ever done the worst caster curse ever in my casting career. That moment.
That was pretty bad, man.
Dude, it becomes a flawless round for all of these guys to get these picks. I don't know how Blue Otter was able to pull that type of magic out of their hat to be able to win that round, but they just disrupted YFP and just picked them off limb by limb. No opportunities for YFP. I mean, that's probably the reason why. They were so spread out across the map, despite the space that was given to them. But they just gave so many individual fights, and now you have such a healthy buy. A great chance for Blue Otter to come back in the game.
Crazy to see such a sloppy round from such an established team. Penny, affected by that relay bolt, excuse me. And there's the rounder now, trying to use the fast lane to get out. Things looking very, very awkward here for the Neon. Still, though, they turn around and get into market. Bob, though, opens up the account. It's Jake dealt with, and Blue Otters this time happy to give a bit of space. They know they're in good shape when it comes to the retake. They've got an overdrive available for their own Neon here. I'm going to use them instead just to try and speculate through that smoke, and what a timing physique into mid now. Hunter's Fury, smacks of desperation here for Physic. Did get a tag. Bob's already on the side that would have taken Stella down. Where's Penny at? Sat towards the back of the side here in a terrible spot. And now it's only Physic to lock this down, but they've already used their Hunter's Fury. And they won't want to use it in a 1vx scenario anyway. They're going to get out of here.
Nice fight here by Blue Otter towards the end. And yeah, you were asking that question, where the hell is Penny's at? Well, they did a great job as well for, oh no, can't even save the weapon. They couldn't even do it on the side here for Blue Otters. Whenever they were losing map control, but still getting fights at long distance, they just played back and waited off to play the retake because they were just waiting for the overdrive to finish out of Penny. And when Penny couldn't do anything anymore and only has a Bucky to work with, you can't really jump out to go for picks when Stellar's lurking as a breach on the top and middle. You can't flash, you can't support, so you're kind of just stuck there on an island. So he gets picked off and traded off as soon as he went for a backstab kill, but there's really nothing else there to help out YFP in the post plan, which is unfortunate on how, again, they scale up that map on that round. Well, there's a lot of youth at the beginning here. Camera up, aggressive. We saw that earlier on in that previous series, just to try to look back towards the elbow. Recon towards main to see if there's any aggression on extremities. And now YFP could just group up towards middle, knowing that there's not real pressure coming out, and they have an opportunity themselves to isolate 1v1s.
Okay, Zico, a little bit too sharp for a Penny. He's just not in a position. The spacing wasn't remotely there. Oh, buddy, this is ugly stuff. Oh, YFP had to take a save round here, so just with the Sheriffs, but that did not go well for them at the top of mid at all. And this is what we've seen from them a little bit. They have tried to use that part of the map quite extensively. Welly, okay, does eventually get the shot to kill.
And jumping
Gun
share
here.
shots, why not? I feel like despite
not a
the
good
score
shot
only
today,
being 3-3,
don't worry. There are
they're kind
other
of
ways
feeling
to
themselves
do
and feeling quite confident, especially after the round that they got on at Thrifty. So all that momentum that started at the very beginning, Oldie, Penny ult on the second round already available, Thief getting a neural theft after the second round and how good he was doing on the anti-eco with just a pistol, all that is gone and out the window, and Blue are back in full control. Bob with an operator looking down towards middle. Heavy pressure coming out from YFP though. This is an aggressive can to potentially even try to push out on contact, but they'll have to figure out here very soon that there's an op that they're gonna have to work against.
Also, Stella's not... Okay, he's going to throw a pretty deep fault line if he's not setting up in tiles for this.
Yeah.
Already a lot
It's
of
for
control
elbow
being
here.
taken. No one way for Zostal this round. Maybe hoping to bait some confidence in here. Spots Penny. Ooh, okay. Well, we don't know him about those ones, folks. Zeke now able to step out, though, and at least trade it. That was a 40 health Penny.
Return to
Zeke might
sender.
want to fall off this side, though. They've got a Rolling Thunder to work with, and yet they do seem to be embedded to some degree. Now they get back, so they can make use of that ultimate for a flood retake, and it's going to come in pretty quickly, in fact, to disrupt the attackers. It cuts through, but Jake is going to be ahead of it now as Shondex falls, and up on that high ground, he can try and spray for Zeke through the smoke, who's down to 6 points of health, and eventually he falls.
That's interesting. It almost feels like the Rolling Thunder hit nobody. We clicked through the players and nobody was affected by it, so great job by YFP to avoid all of that. And that might be the call for the last 2 players to save. You're hoping that off the Rolling Thunder you could take down Thief. That would activate here this lurk from Bob. And even in this position, I wouldn't even let Bob go for a shot because they don't know that she's using that this current round. And I think it's still a great element of surprise moving on to the next.
Yes. I mean, Bob was sitting in market watching that mid play, right? So
Yeah.
it's actually a great call against YFP's tendency to walk up into mid and slowly take control with a smoke top mid. So Bob can stow this and make use of it on a later round, because there's a good chance that YFP end up going back to that. Bob has to take this kill if it offers itself up to her. Oh, she's out of it. Paranoia is definitely going to make that a non-viable option. And YFP will be allowed to move away here, getting themselves back into the lead. A pretty messy fight over on the A side.
Yeah. Again, it was just Zolstol starting off similar things on Ascent with a judge around the corner hoping to catch one, but was a little bit tucked too close in terms of the crosshair around the corner, and just unfortunately with the first shot here onto Penny. At least Zeke was able to answer back, but everything got very chaotic. And even on the exit though, Stellar, yes, he didn't get an opportunity to get the pick here onto Bob or vice versa, but I'm pretty sure he saw the op come through. So they're already pinging this out towards the market, towards top Boba. This might be a finish for a split back towards the B side, depending what they see here towards the mid round.
Oh, they are drifting back to mid, but this is going to have to be a huge... Okay. Not really. She has the time! And now Jake's still in mid, though. Awkward
There's a
stuff. Bob going to find a third.
Enemy remaining.
And that fault line, there's no one to play off of it, despite Stella hitting the neon squarely. Just when we thought YFP were going to hit that A side again, they end up falling off of it and go straight up mid, which is their downfall. So Blue Water's definitely getting a read on this tendency for the attackers.
Found you.
Thief now eventually is going to go down. It's funny now, like, right, with the Cypher comps, it's hard to play a 1-1-3 on this map. You can't overstack that A side. There was another round where Blue Water's just had the single breach playing there. And yet, YFP don't go for it. He's down 6. He's going to be in trouble here. 4 for Bob on the round.
She'll go back and probably pick up her... Oh, no, Zeke has it so far. They can juggle it back for the next round, which is great. At least the op, they know, wow, now that for YFP, that Blue Water is using it. These are some great shots coming out from Bob. Easy on the first one, but landing on your feet and then getting these shots are quite nice. Overall, though, yes, you're talking about, like, you can't really play a 1-3-1, but you could still definitely play a lot of 4-1s with this composition, where has been part of, like, just maybe the basic way of working and scaling up a map on two-sided maps, because the Cypher could already cover so much ground, and you're already seeing it this round. Solo play coming out from Thief, 4 players heading out towards this B side, and it's going to be another bloodbath.
Bob's going up mid. She eventually gets it. Affected by that fault line. Paranoia also came on in. I love this aggressive turn of pace here from Blue Waters, and this is bad for YFP. This is their gun round that we're really hoping to bring back in action. Getting pretty much destroyed. And passively, Shondex is looking straight down towards mid. Covers the A site with the util. So again, that sort of 4-1 idea definitely plays itself out.
One enemy remaining.
Blue Waters overload.
And that's the difference here as Shondex picks up the last kill against Physic is we talked about the 4-1 position that you could do on both ends, but most likely you're seeing it on the attack. But the thing that was missing this time around that kind of punished YFP on scaling towards this B side was after you place this trip towards A, you kind of still, especially if you don't have any type of pressure towards middle, for me, you would want to give that responsibility to the Cypher. So if the Cypher is grouped up with them and you throw a camera on middle, it would allow for you to get a little bit more prepared for these type of hits and these types of quick pushes down towards middle. And this round, they're going to keep doing the same thing. They're like, well, Bob already used her finger blaster. She's not going to do it again. So let's just go back into the tried and true of what we're trying to do in the previous round. Go for a slow 4-1 and then potentially activate Thief on a late lurk, but they have a much lower buy, which probably will not get the same value.
Also, Tiles is being watched pretty closely right now, so we do spring into action on this B side. Penny trying to get deep on the site. Jake got to be pinged out there and hit pretty hard. It's going to be another shot that claims him. Penny, awkward. Caught to the back of the site, stunned up here. Shondex can see them. A lot of spray there through the masonry, but only 2 bullets left for Shondex, and they're feeling the pressure. They take a moment now to reload. There's an extra player to back them up as Bob comes to the rescue. And yeah, pretty uneventful round here for YFP. Blue get themselves to 6.
And that's exactly those trips that we were talking about, where you can't place those unbreakable trips towards B main anymore. You want to make sure that you're at least able to set up trap kills that you play now back towards Boba. You can even set trap kills on the crosses that tucks in towards the palm trees, and you get spam kills from Market. So there's still ways to be creative around playing a Cypher on this map. Maybe it'll change in 9-10 with the changes onto the Cypher trips itself, but at least for now, still great value, and that's a trip that I'm talking about that Shondex just placed there to look towards that side. But overall, this is still very good to allow the defenders to contain the backside and not get overwhelmed just like Penny was trying to do.
Well, the guns are back. A lot of ultimates here for YFPA. Must win round. They do a lot of this rolling thunder now, but again, it's the same inclination to get themselves in towards mid. It is still Bob with the operator. This time she's headed over towards that A side, and she actually might get the payoff here. Thief with that low cam that we're starting to see. Bob has to have heard that dart get fired off. And now we're going to walk up into this. First kill. Yep. Bob gets one. Fall back to Link here. By time now for Zeke to get in position. Looks like YFP still want to end here.
And that's camera being thrown in an end, so they can't really watch the op on the line. Bob, full confidence, peeking again.
Gosh, he's asking for so much, and no one is watching for that at all. Jake, looking a little bit sheepish there behind those boxes. And Zeke deals with Penny pretty comfortably now. Fizzy going to try and use his ultimate. So many ults available in this round for YFP, but never really a good chance to use them, just because Bob audaciously reposts up on the angle to find a second kill. Music's not long for this world either. And that's kind of, I mean, a huge flawless round here, first of all. That's kind of what we see in this strategy, right? Control the extremities with these ops, because you can't really use your util until you get in striking distance of that A side.
She's getting so much value with her operator right now, and there's not enough utility clearing her away, which is why, again, the camera being thrown around the corner, even then, I feel like the camera kind of missed because you're trying to throw into a portion where it could even look into elbow at the same time, and you kill 2 birds with 1 stone by looking short and then the right side elbow. So by throwing a camera on the right side of the wall instead of this one that you currently see here that's looking out towards short, Bob gets free reign the whole time if you're not going to use any util.
That's a nice fault line there for a solo side hold. He can stop YFP in their tracks for now. Still probably wants to play off the site. I respect it, Penny. Full face.
Looks like me.
Okay, down to 45. They're trying to push out with the judge. They might get something here. Oh, that is...
Yeah,
well,
they get
doesn't look like anything to me, Vance. No siree.
Looks like me again.
I saw nothing. Physic now with the judge. We're able to find a trade there. Thief gets in, at least get the neural theft. Yeah, very surprised, of course, to realize that all of blue are waiting to pounce on the A side.
Yeah.
Shocking, in fact. Nicely done by Stella here. Bulldog starts to bark. 6 HP they're left with the breach, and Jake has to go pretty mental here. 22 points of health. Okay, hang about. So Salt. Not expecting that emergence there from Jake, and time is short. Time is real short. This is the unreal clutch for the man. That's disgusting. Huge Zippo clutch for Jake.
Oh my God. We were ready to write off YFP that round for sure. You heard it in the play-by-play. I was ready to write up the comment as well after digesting that round of how good Blue Water were to just wait off the Rolling Thunder and re-hit towards the site and even punish the overheats. But sometimes you just got Big Bean that's still alive here, that's able to clutch out for the team, and he did such a good job dancing around that generator and really go into these 1v1s. So many players got caught off guard. Zolstal never expected for them to repeat while they were tapping on the spike. What a nice little round that keeps YFP alive in this game. A huge important round because this is also a momentum swing. You get that type of clutch, you're moving high hopes, moving into your defensive round, and you're hoping here that you're going to hold off. A lot of pressure coming out from Blue Water towards this B pressure.
All right, let's run it back here. Second half of Sunset. YFP's map pip. Things did not go so well for them on a sense here, but so far it's been good enough. See Bob, though, look to try and show off those neon chops. Caught by a very deep trap wire by Thief there. A very easy kill.
You want to fight back towards Bola.
Okay, this could get ugly. YFP, though, received that push pretty easily. Welly going to be hit by that relay bolt. Heading to swoops in and takes them out. Pistol one here for YFP. Well on the ways to making this a very competitive map too.
Very, very nice round two. You talked about that trip towards that back, but flipping the map and trying to push back and brute force your way through. I think it was a little bit of a miscomm. You probably needed to just time your swing into the smoke a little bit better. And even a dart went right onto the chest of Shondex, and at that point, there's probably no way. Even if you just found 14 players inside that smoke, it would have hit every single one of those players on the opposite end. So very nicely done. I just realized that these two animals are doing kind of like a Spider-Man type of scene.
Yeah. Well spotted, Vance.
Thank you.
Well spotted. Defensive relay bolt there, but nobody remotely close enough here. Blue is actually slow it up just to kind of get the orb and play back from it. Lava shot there will allow Jake to get in position to make the judge sing. And that'll be Blue pulling out of A entirely. But look at this, they've got Shondex on a bizarre wrap. This is being pinged out by the defenders. Everybody. He's got a 5-star wanted level in GTA.
And didn't get out of that radio, so that one couldn't escape the cops. Jake caught him, and that's the rest of the team moving out towards this B site for a plant. So didn't work out, but at least the Omen made it through. This could at least allow for you to get 300 credits for a plant.
I don't know about that. Oh, okay. I thought that Shocky was going to hit.
Same.
Something got lost in transmission there. Thief on that, up in that corner, in the cam, so to speak. And yeah, we check that corner because we're reasonable gamers. Jake carries 3 kills out of this round here, and it'll be a comfortable defuse, another flawless for YFP.
So that's 3,000 credits for 2 rounds in a row. Of course, they fought down with whatever they want on the pistol round, but looking very healthy on the bonus and going to have a very good round in round number 3, which could potentially even activate an early op for a penny if they want to use that, which would be a great call with how Bomb got so much value with her operate on the first half. That said, though, with this round, let's focus on this one for the defensive side. They do want to look like they want to add a little bit more of that control towards the A, using both of the stunners to fight back on this aggression. The ping coming out from Blue Water, who seems to want to move very quickly back towards the elbow too. Although the bear is coming up, Bob made it.
Right away on the fault line here to stop that early push. We're just seeing that thrown now without the geckos in the comps. We're just seeing that thrown off on an early timing to stop a fast play, as opposed to trying to set up to play off with a dizzy or something similar. Okay, Welly, maybe a little bit too slow on that slide out here. YFP are having a fantastic time of things here on their defense side. Bonus round here that they've already gotten themselves a nice little lead in. We're backing on up. Jake gets himself a judge.
They found my wife.
John missed too, but not that one. Very good for YFP to convert their bonus so far. And as they hear players pulling back, they could potentially even pick up this Vandal towards the end. But I like that you're not being overreactive to try to pick that up, especially the recon dart to confirm presence on B main.
Steve is doing so much here with nothing but Spectre. Dirty. That is a brilliant conversion here on this bonus round, like you pointed out, Vans.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah, I mean, we're still carrying judges, we're still carrying Spectres through from the prior.
Jake,
30 seconds left.
Win this one? Okay, maybe not.
I respect it. 3 seconds. Spike a long way away, and Penny comes in to put Bob out of her misery. YFP here, take that round 15.
My advice?
Perfect
Don't get
conversion
shot.
off the bonus round here. Knocking once more Blue Waters down a peg.
Look at that, just so focused on trying to break the Cypher U2, clearing out towards the corner, and Thief is just playing out in the open. So that's, I think it's just the confidence that you have on the defenders on that side, knowing how much of util is being used on that A side for Blue Waters on the attack, right? They already knew they were playing against a Breach and a Neon on that side, so you could play a little bit more out in the open. You're not afraid of getting flashed out on the first entries. You talk about 2 flawless rounds, a bonus that they were able to keep 3 players alive. This is starting to be a steep uphill fight for Blue Water. Sunset, a map pick for YFP. Looking much stronger now on the defensive side.
Yeah, constantly Blue Waters just going for this A hit. YFP are handling. Not so much this time though. A little bit of damage on Zeke and Bob, but that is a rifle drop. Bob will have that for herself here. Still she's unarmored though, pretty low. Recon did ping out Jake now. It was decided to fully given up here by YFP. They can look to come back in.
Ult.
No neural theft opportunity here.
Spike
If he doesn't have a
planted.
corpse to work with. See what happens as the TP comes across. That are also just trying to clear there. And here comes a rolling thunder from Blue Waters here. They're really stuck on that one. Zeke does go down after the fact, but the shells are starting to sing out, and Bob's recovered rifle downs Jake. Okay, well, let's just have a thrifty right here then. Just as we're gassing up YFP for having a great time on the defense side, Vans. You've done it again, buddy.
Dude, let me just, you know what? Solo cast this.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't really ready to have my Overwatch experience casting Valorant, but I mean, I guess we
No,
can.
I gotta say it's nice little jiggle too. The triple swing that came through from the elbow, I could still respect that Penny was ADSing down that spot and trying to land a shot, because it's still Penny. He still has sick aim. I think he was a little bit leaning toward a little bit more towards elbow, and it was too much out in the open to get punished. But to juggle through and allow Zeke to get the plant and the rolling thunder, all that pressure that was being pushed here by YP, well read and well controlled.
That fault line again. This time, that Penny really wants to fight for a good
I know
variations here.
exactly where it
YFP looking to get their duelist value early in these defense side of rounds, but Jake won't be allowed to get away. It's just Blue Water now. After that thrifty, firing on all cylinders this time in terms of their arsenal, and Bob has that overdrive.
Where is
It's a little outranged there by Physic though, and there's the corpse Thief was looking for. 2v3 for YFP.
That's a huge hat.
Last
Forced
player
him off the
standing.
plant.
Just Physic now. A couple of shock darts here that do get some good damage on Shondex. But Zeke is still going to look to plant on this side. Adamant, of course,
Spike
this is where it's at.
planted.
Physic will naturally clear away that recon. But you're so distributed as Blue Waters. You've got one towards spawn, one towards elbow, one on box. The standard 3v1 setup. And YFP just cannot take the 1v3 clutch this time on this site. And all of a sudden, Blue Waters well and truly back in the game.
Yeah. The thing is you mentioned a 3 versus 1, but it didn't have too much util left on the pulse plan for the attack side. And from the positions that you were enumerating, they were not really in great positions to trade. So that was a chance here for Physic to even win that first fight on some heavily damaged players on that 3 versus 1. But the 1v1 ends up on the side of Blue Water. They take the lead at this point, and the economy's broken. Overdrive, though, from Penny doesn't look like they're trying to go for any type of aggressive play to catch Blue Water off guard. But they are still staying in spawn just in case. So they're okay with that. When it comes down to just scaling back towards the map and working as a group, they're still executing quite well.
No interest in working mid for Blue Waters. Damn, Thief got it. Still able to find one. Fair enough. Are they going to chase this? The Al drone will confirm at least that the Cypher is pulled off of the site properly. Thief never got to, of course, find a weapon upgrade, but still good damage done. Here comes the shocks now. Physic though playing up close and personal. Thief's able to find yet another one with the Sheriff, by the way. Penny's overdrive now looks far more deadly. And Zeke might have the spike, but he's got absolutely nowhere to go with it. Random shot. Okay, moving on. No util left for the breach. He's got to swing out into this one and might find a second one, but okay, we're going to thrifty right back as YFP's Thief comes alive.
Yeah, again, with the pistols. This guy should just keep pistols his whole half. He's been owning so far, being a silent killer at least. I haven't mentioned his name too much in this whole series, but when it comes down to pop up and pop off on towards the B side, he's able to anchor it up. But you've mentioned it was questionable here for Blue Water to not try to scale back on middle to get some information. But it's also because they were anticipating this type of crunch coming through from Penny. So not hearing the finger blaster being activated right away, they're like, okay, well, they're not going to go for a trap play. Let's move in towards B. They play the contact, and it got instantly dropped by Thief. It would have been a different story, though, if Thief wasn't on one today. And it could have been a B site much easily taken for Blue Water, but great job for YFP to keep the game close, and for Blue Water to look for some orb control to potentially even build the Hunter's Fury on the exec.
Cancel there. That was a from the shadows to the site by Zostal. Probably seeing all that they needed to. This time Blue Waters have gotten quite deep on that A side without Penny going aggressive against them early. And the Neon confirmed to be at B, still heads turning towards the top of the map. For whatever reason, I guess because Market was left uncovered here, YFP are a little bit concerned about Blue Waters players getting in there, and that's going to be manually re-cleared by Physic now.
Yeah. Even Zostal calls here for the rotate back towards the B site because they ulted within and look for the info. Now they think B is safe.
Okay, Zostal going to be peeping out of that one. Thief here gets pretty far forward now, and 35 seconds left of the round. It looks like YFP are getting the heck out of here. They're banking on Shondex to be a real problem here up mid.
30 seconds
He's going to
left.
use this opportunity to try and get forward. He's going to be good for a potential catch on the cross, but Jake knows better. And Physic just stops to slap Zeke down. Spike will be steady heading over the A side, excuse me.
No smoke
Position here up on Link for Jake. Comes off second best when it comes to the span through the smoke, and now we're down to 12 seconds here. Shondex though finally gets up the top, finds two through top mid. Got to be applied pretty soon here, and Penny tries to disrupt it. 5 seconds left in the round, but ends up being a trade. Who is going to cover Welly on this? No one, no chance. And Blue Waters run out of time.
Oh, that Hunter's Fury, the plant delays coming out from YFP was huge. I think just backpedaling towards the B site and then force out the ults was kind of good, but they were still missing a little bit of the extra insert towards that A side. Again, an overcook on the double backpedal coming out from Blue Water this time around on the map here of Sunset. And it's off here, not punishing Physic with the Hunter's Fury, delaying the plant for a bit, and then also not being able to force out Stellar's early utility on that A side control, while the Aftershock was still available too to push the planter away from the plant spot, and you just simply win on time. And that's gonna hurt. They were coming back here, taking full control, tying up the game, but now they're back into a broken economy. So now it's your turn, Uber, to do the caster curse, because you were just saying the last two rounds it looked pretty good here for Blue Water.
Yeah, Blue Water's definitely not going to win this round. Definitely not going to happen.
Wow, you're so biased, bro. What is such a biased caster?
Physically, it's just impossible. Just quietly, we were gassing up Thief on the YFP side of things. Bob and Zeke having a great game so far between the two of them. There's no real way to get a Hunter's Fury, I guess, this kind of round, not with the weaponry to take some of those by force by shooting people in the face.
Yeah.
I guess you have a Hunter's Fury here, but Blue Waters is more so planning for round 21 here.
I mean,
maybe.
As we say that, they kind of leveraged the Hunter's Fury on that Ascent map when they had a lower buy. You already have the spike here on Zeke, so this might be a early take control, grab the orb, Hunter's Fury to create space, and then they go for a plant, and that allows for them to get the Rolling Thunder. Just like scaling up the way that they did, they got good value off the Rolling Thunder on the pulse plant before on a lower buy.
Zeke does get that orb. One away from Rolling Thunder. Blue Waters this time, they actually do want to scale into mid a little bit early, and they leave Shondex behind. This is not an uncommon strategy, and will be spotted out by the Owl drone. It's scary because Shondex crunched here, and there's no one to take this cipher. That is ugly. That is extremely ugly. And Shondex is probably screaming at his team like, hey, they're going to kill me. They're definitely coming after me. Beautifully done by Zostal there, and a good follow-up with the Paranoia, but walking any further forward was already visible. Oh, okay. Thought Zostal might have had that, but the flash one, I think, caught them off. Well, he's able to get a connection, at least with the Hunter's Fury, but eventually will be pushed into YFP. I love this. They go up a gear. They spot the lone Cypher in mid. They push them, and they do the same against the Hunter's Furying player of Welly there.
Yeah. And Jake has been getting a lot of value, too, as this Omen on this map. Not necessarily on the flash plays that he's doing, but the flashy plays that he's doing. The Hunter's Fury comes out on the attack side. He TPs on the top of the boxes, catches his opponent off guard, and doesn't allow here Welly to get another ping out. But just foiling that plan of the late lurk up towards middle and moving quickly over towards the east side, it did not give a chance here for Blue Water to really set up here on the pulse plan. But you still have the Rolling Thunder. So it was like a high risk with the Hunter's Fury. It didn't pan out. You couldn't get your thrifty round, but at least you have a Rolling Thunder in your gun round.
Watch out! Go, go, go!
This is up here. Disrespect to the cyber cage, forcing Shondex away, but from Welly.
I'm out of here.
The cheeky little one-way that defenders can throw towards that kiosk there. And out we go. Not a lot of map control here for Blue Water, so instead they make the right choice and try and take position in mid. So still maybe trying to, I love that, trying to telegraph that someone has gotten deep. This pulls these YFP players off the A site entirely, so much so that Physic is sitting in spawn still.
Yeah, might have no choice but to play retake. Now recon dart even used quite early, so it's not going to be up for the next 35 now on the side of the defensive end. So a great opportunity for Blue Water to move up towards the site. Even if it's scaling, if it's a walk contact, yes, it gets spotted by the camera, but they should still be very okay to move inside this A site.
Yeah, especially with this one-way now. This is going to keep Thief out of their business for a while. Smoke also over towards Link. So full retake protocol left here, while Zeke does sit on a Rolling Thunder, which may allow Blue Water to push off the site or interrupt a flood retake from the defenders. Bob here backs up and definitely wants to play close to Link. Most of the players for YFP are grouping up here towards spawn. Rolling Thunder pretty nasty there as Flash Thief gets into the site. Ghostwall already taken down, and now you have a lot of information. Blue Waters have to spring into action now, and Bob does just that. Finds two, but Thief is still set up on the side. Here's that belated Rolling Thunder, but who's here to capitalize? Jake was unaffected by it entirely. Now a 2 versus 2. Welly and Zeke grouped up here. Stella hoping to dig them out, but they dodged that fault line, and this is a little bit scary for the defending breach. Has a defuse, though, in the meantime. As Stella and Thief lock it down.
I think that Stella even got the Rolling Thunder after one of the kills, too, because I don't think they ever had it on the retake potential. That was so good there by YFP towards the end. A little bit of a stall that was attempted here by the attack side, but just to leave that, I mean, pushing Bob to get 2 kills by her lonesome up towards shop was a huge thing, but failing to contain here towards the elbow and getting hit by your opponent's Rolling Thunder and allowing Stellar to get that pick to allow the Rolling Thunder to happen was unfortunately not the result here that you wanted for Blue Water. And now YFP are at map point, looking to push this into a map 3. Overdrive already up from Bob, stopped by a trip, and also stopped by Thief.
Yeah, she can't do more. Thief is just lying in wait. The antithesis, of course, to that fast neon rush. Still, it gets a little bit hectic here over towards the A side, and Stella maybe realizes they've overcommitted to this fight. 3 versus 2, in fairness, 2 Guardians in play. People that fault line has to hastily throw a cyber cage down, and from an off-angle Physics able to get one. They're traded out. And will that spike head to be after all? Thief is thinking probably.
You can't, but he's thinking that there's a push from Zolstol because this whole time there was no Omen coming out here for a trade. So you're making sure here that you're clearing out towards the back of the map. This should give a free plant now for Zeke. He goes for a tap instead, no swing out. But at the same time, you're wasting a lot of time and you're out in the open potentially for Thief to even push through. Oh my God.
Okay, there it is. Thief gets brought down and Blue Water's actually able to stabilize here. And a round looked like it was going to go terribly off the rip. Bob just charges straight down mid and gets caught by a trap wire. But the fighting over towards Link is very favorable for Blue.
Right over there. Right exactly over here. The amount of util that's being traded on both ends. Paranoia on the defensive side. Fault line to try to stall on the other end too. And just making sure that you're isolating 1v1s. And when you need to ping pong, they ping pong perfectly for Blue. So yes, they're able to salvage around here. And they're able to actually keep a decent amount of players still alive to have a strong gun round. The worst weapon that they have is a Guardian for Welly, a hat available for Shondex, one of the rare pushes split into the B site that has not been done by Blue Water so far on the attack side that might catch YFP off guard.
He deals with that Bloom and DP pretty quickly. Right below them is Bob. A little bit of spray there through the masonry. Does find it smart, and Shondex might have a timing given. Oh no! They've choked! They've choked it! Enough players from YFP able to turn around and deal with that Cypher from mid, and it's all up to Welly. It's just too much for just the Guardian. And YFP take away a close fought sunset to force the decider.
That was the unfortunate thing. The biggest win condition for that round was for Shawnex to be able to get behind and that double kill. But you're under pressure. You're trying to shoot models from behind. Sometimes it gets stressful, especially when you land those shots. And unfortunately, it was a nail in the coffin there that forces now the third map between YFP and Blue Otter.
I'm ready for it. This is an important match for these two teams. Remember, with a $25,000 prize pool, this is an elimination match, and both these teams are fighting tooth and nail to stay in the mix. Stick around for map number 3. It's going to be split after the break.